Welcome to the Once a Day Roast-A-Man's Supercut. I'm keeping this to 15 minutes just so that way people can watch it on their break, but if you would like to see this in a full 40-minute format where I do all of them in one go, then suggest it in the comments. Welcome to the new series I will be uploading every day I don't have a full-length video coming out. The Once a Day Roast-A-Mans. It's like a vitamin, but for pain, where I'll cover some of the characters I missed in a roast or taking a roast even further. And today, the first character I ever truly just forgot. 2007 Bonecrusher. A guy who clearly just wishes he was Scorponok. Either of them, really. With a sad approximation of the stinger tail and the crab-like features. Looking at the face, he screams to me that Bay was thinking, what if Scorponok, but also Gimp? Love the skates with the claws pointing down. That has to be a metric pain in the ass. He's either teetering, trying to balance as he waddles everywhere, or he's skating around on them, and at some point he'll mess up, and those will dig into the ground and cause him to smash his teeth out on the pavement. Oh, so that's why his face looks like that. He slipped and grounded off on the concrete. I'm not fucking done with you, Huffer. I can't help but notice those biceps of yours are kind of ludicrously huge. Yet in the first episode of the show, you got trapped under a bit of scaffolding and had to have someone else come and save you. Come clean here. You wanted to look strong, but didn't want to put in the work, so you gave yourself some synthol injections to fake your muscles, didn't you? And just like all those weirdos who abuse that stuff, you don't look cool, you just look like a freak. Did you also inject it into your fists, or were you just born with a bad case of Mickey Mouse hands? And why do you have the belly button, dude? Did you literally choose to have that because you were like, well, a human could kick my ass? So you wanted to be more like us because you thought it would make you stronger. Though, I do gotta commend you on your honesty. At least you aren't rocking a giant codpiece like Prime. Instead, it perfectly reflects your small dick energy by being completely flat. 2007 movie Brawl, you predator cosplaying Neanderthal. I love how I can look at your face and just see that yes, you are the dumbest man who ever lived. I mean, look at you. You're trying to use unheated blades to shank other Cybertronians. That's adorably moronic. You know what's weird is that you look way more human than your compatriots with far more logical proportions. And hell, even your shoulder kibble isn't blocking your peripheral vision that bad. How are you the best designed Decepticon on your side? That can't possibly be because you chose to have a better body. There is nothing between your ears. No way you made that decision consciously. I'd be willing to bet that those are the default proportions for everyone, and when you got asked if you wanted to change anything to add some personal flair to your body, you just belched and drooled a little bit. Though, that does mean everyone else who was smart enough to respond was also dumb enough to ruin their own bodies. Armada Sideswipe. What, you guys thought I was never going to go after shitty toys? There is a whole world of trash designs out there, and I'm not going to let them just pass me by. And if you think this video was done for you, yes. Sideswipe, you live perhaps the most cursed existence of anything I've ever considered. I mean, not only are you just an ugly chud with a bad face and no neck, as well as a show model that is just a lie, but you are weighed down by such unreasonable kibble. I swear it's like you don't know how bodies work. All you knew is that big arms make people look strong, but you didn't quite get what that meant. So you packed 2/3 of your body's mass into your forearms, and then you tried to give yourself the God King of all BDE, but you're so dumb you can barely breathe, and instead you have it sticking out of your ass, because there is no low that you can't dig your way under. Twitter, you forced my hand on this! And yeah, I am willing to branch out into other franchises. Expect the flames to get spread around. King Ghidorah, you bumblefuck loser. I don't understand how you've gone down as, finger quotes, Godzilla's greatest foe, when literally no one can be expected to be intimidated by you. First up, 100% gold color scheme. Bold choice, to say the least. No accents, no highlights. Whoever came up with you just gave up partway through, didn't they? Also, no arms and a horribly exposed torso. You are just begging to die. Please attack me and all my organs. Your only saving grace is that among the kaiju, you are the one known to spam the beam attacks. But you can't fucking aim for shit. You attack like a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man with a gun. Sure, maybe you'll hit an opponent, but you're also probably gonna hit a random hawk and your own foot. You are the hose turned on to maximum with no one holding it of villains. A pathetic, desperate idiot who the movies only pretend is intimidating, because otherwise they'd have to name the film Godzilla vs. the Neighborhood Cripple. Another toy today. Yippee. You know, Wheelie, it was always super suspicious that you were constantly hanging out with Daniel. But I have to hand it to you. I never expected anyone to have a toy made of them that looks like it diddles kids. You are an unmitigated horror show. Ventriloquists' dummies look upon you in terror. How did Hasbro finish this figure and at any point think to themselves, yeah, a sane human is gonna want this? Your existence is so offensive that it actually explains how movie Wheeljack happened. And you can't even be the best at anything, you cursed fuck. You are still only the second most nightmarish abomination this franchise has ever produced, thanks to that mutant you spawned. The only reason you are remembered as Wheelie, the character everyone hates because they rhymed every sentence, is because everyone repressed the memories of your toy in order to protect their sanity, you abusively hideous freak. Rally/Checkers Rhinox. Where do I even fucking begin? We've done it, ladies and gentlemen. We have found not only the single worst Transformers toy ever, we have found the worst toy ever. A toy so bad that I trade it for one extra French fry. Hell, I'd trade it for nothing. You cannot convince me that these weren't handed out in some Captain Planet villain-esque plot to have kids throw these away so it helps increase pollution. Clearly, whoever designed this not only had never seen Rhinox from Beast Wars, but had also just never seen Transformers, as well as they were clearly suffering from a dearth of talent. Obviously, they saw GoBots, mistook it for the Transformers, and then tried to combine that with the Muppets while also being incompetent. Apparently, this isn't a rhino because he's got elephantitis in his legs, his shoulders are attached to his Shrek ears, his arms are just flat paddles, they don't even have fists drawn on them to pretend, and he's got a constant look of abject horror. He obviously knows that he's a horrible teleporter accident masquerading as a person. He has no mouth and he must scream. Welcome to the once-a-day Roast a Beast Wars week. It's like a vitamin, but for Beast Wars pain. And oh, I am not done with Rallies or Checkers or whatever you want to call that shitty restaurant's Rhinox yet, because we haven't even seen the Beast Mode. How? How did you take the worst thing ever and find a way to make it suck harder? Are you kidding me with this? This is your alt mode. I know robots in disguise has always been a bullshit tagline, but why does this thing have gold scales? Why are you pulling this sad Ghidorah bullshit? I thought he was bad, but at least he had another head. Are you so pathetic that even emulating a loser you do it worse? You are the ugliest, most unconvincing freak to ever walk on four limbs. You are a rhino with two paper-thin heads who's charging on fucking flippers that are attached to your chins. So no matter what you do, all your weight is resting on your neck. Your only saving grace is that no matter what you ram, you are going to wrap around it with your torso and not your heads, because otherwise you just decapitate yourself with your only method of attack. Evolution weeps at the notion of your existence. Retracts, you suck so hard you don't even deserve to be roasted. Injector, you absolute dumbass. I love how you clearly didn't understand the concept of what you were. The other fusers were a mixture, a fusion, if you would, of two creatures. Like Torka was a combination of an elephant and orca. He was terrifying, like if John Carpenter's The Thing was in Beast Wars. Then Noctoro, a bull-bat hybrid with broken wrists. Airhammer, a bird who's also a shark. All of these are indivisible. You are an entire bee with an entire fish for your head. Gotta hand it to you, you will survive decapitation just fine because your head is a perfectly viable creature on its own. But at the same time, it's like I turned on Big Heads mode in a video game because it's like 2/3 of your entire mass. So odds are any shot you take is gonna punch straight through your brain. And God, you are just so spindly in the body. Why did you let your head soak up all your mass? Your skull is a giant weak point and your body is so flimsy you could get hit by a feather and break a bone. Everywhere is a critical hit on you. Sorry for forgetting to do one of these on Saturday, just like how I forgot to cover Jolt in my Revenge of the Fallen roast. Well, I say forgot, more like I didn't realize Sir literally in 18 seconds of the movie, if you count background shots, was in there in the first place. I don't think anyone's sure if this toy looks anything like you. Nobody's ever seen you before. You look like you're wearing a woman's sexy times nightie, and you stand like you desperately have to shit. You are about as cool as a pancreas exam. But hey, at least we can experience all the pain you have in store for us in just a few seconds, unlike those. I don't know what to critique on you, because your design is so fucking bad in the movies, they had to invent kibble so they had an excuse for a place to put your alt mode. And I know why Hasbro thought they could get away with it, considering who on earth knows you well enough to disagree that this trash isn't what you just look like. IDW Prowl, I don't know whether or not to roast you for what you look like or who you are. It's not so much that IDW defined you as they did character assassinate you, which is impressive considering how little character you had before. Had they applied everything they wrote for you to an amoeba, it still would have created the most loathed organism on the planet. The Gestapo and the NKVD would look at you and go, "Dude, you need to ease up a bit." You are the kind of guy who would enslave someone and then demand that they thank you for the privilege of being your property. Because they're better off without freedom since they clearly couldn't handle it, and it's not like they were doing anything of value anyways. Better to let your infinite wisdom and equally big penis guide them. It wouldn't surprise me to find out that the Great War was fought because the Decepticons were all the people your gaslighting ass fucked over, and the Autobots were the people that you could manipulate into dying to defend you, you loathsome piece of wretched garbage. Let's do another kaiju. Megalon. You know, I think you're the only enemy in all of Godzilla I've ever seen to kill itself with its own attack. Fitting you'd commit suicide. Should have done it the moment you were born. Saved yourself a lifetime of being you. And at least it was better than dying at the hands of that Ultraman knockoff Jet Jaguar. Dying to him would have been almost as embarrassing as your entire existence up to that point. You are the saddest giant monster. You look like some desperate party bro who lost both his hands in a bad Hawaiian shirt wearing a helmet that you crafted yourself. And reminder, you have no hands. Your handiwork is trash. I love how you traded your ability to feed yourself for some... don't even know if you can call these claws. Punch dildos that are neither sharp nor pointy. And I don't think the M pattern is helping these be any more dangerous. You might think it's M for Megalon, but it's actually for moron. Ignoring the fact that in his introduction, Movie Jazz here managed to be an uncomfortable racist stereotype with just 14 words. We've done it, ladies and gentlemen! We've discovered the grayest possible object! I think I'm going to have to give this one the default judgment of being the most boring Transformers design ever, because I just can't tell what I'm looking at. I mean, I can't say for sure because my eyes refuse to focus on any part of it. It's like, that right there's gray, that's also the exact same gray, but somehow even more. I have perfect vision, yet it feels like I need glasses to look at this shitty thing. God, it's like he looked at beige and said, wow, that's too vibrant. Then he looked at white and said, that's too intense. Gotta love how he was killed by getting ripped in half. Something that has never been a serious injury to any other Cybertronian. I guess his will to live was as strong as his color layout. I made fun of Megalon, so let's rip into Jet Jaguar. It's only fair. You are the ugliest, dweebiest knockoff to ever be thought up by an unoriginal child with the worst case of English name ever. You are neither Jet nor Jaguar. Instead, you are more abomination made of wax. Your face is terrifying. You look like Neo halfway through having his mouth stolen. And your eyes are so sinister. Unlike Megalon, you're actually scary. I see you've brought enough donuts for the entire class. But why are you wearing them? I don't think you understand what ribbed for her pleasure means. So based on the way you look and the arrow pointing down at your dick, I think you're probably very happy to try and figure it out with no one's consent. I didn't know that robots could look like sex criminals, yet here we are. You look like what a clown from hell threw up after eating too many souls. So let's look at the first Transformers figure to ever just suck, even at the time. Ironhide, you are such a cursed piece of shit, it's insane. I know you were burdened with a show model that was just a lie, but even if it looked exactly like you, the disappointment upon every child's soul who received you for Christmas 1984 would be enough to power hell for 100 years. Individually. It's fair to say that, having not been the case, hell is now powered for all eternity, and it may have actually retroactively created perdition in the first place. So powerful is the misery you caused that it could travel back through time and birth hell. God didn't make it. No, he found what you created and thought, yeah, this is a fine punishment for all of history's shittiest people. I will never get over the fact that your face is a sticker that they could have changed at any point, and they never bothered switching it for something that actually looked like the character. Had I gotten you as a child, I'd be a video game YouTuber right now, and I wouldn't even remember what Transformers is. Fuck you. Hedora. Look, I'm gonna forego the low-hanging fruit of pointing out that you are just a literal giant pile of shit. I hope you appreciate what I'm sacrificing to do this one right. So many plump, juicy turd jokes that I could be making. Instead, I'm going to come at you with, what you got, motherfucker? If Godzilla was not a stone-cold moron in the movie you were in, you'd never have a chance. You winning a fight involves your opponents holding still for the entire duration. What's that? You can throw the poopus at them? Well, you better hope that they're allergic to corn, because that would just piss me off. And what's that? You're weak to electricity? Well, you better hope you don't get tossed through power lines like they're a set of wrestling ropes like what happens in every Godzilla movie ever. And you're weak to your eyes getting exploded? And if Godzilla would just grow a brain cell in your movie and use his atomic breath, you'd probably be weak to that too? Your only saving grace is that Godzilla is as stoned in that movie as the people who were making it. Movie Scorponok. You know, I went to write this one once before, only to stop when I realized I could just not make heads or tails of you. So much of you is just visual noise. Your body is like natural dazzle camo. I can't tell which way you're facing and if you're coming or going. And are you just brain dead or what? Your ult mode is a giant earth scorpion. How is that a disguise? And why did you switch to it? Because it isn't helping you hide, and I'm fairly sure that there are more dangerous things for an alien death robot to be than a blind invertebrate who has to hold something down with its hands to use its only attack. Maybe that's why you couldn't hit all those soldiers who were like 50 feet away from you. You have 4 eyes, but each of them has 20/80 eyesight. And your eyes are cameras. How do you even have split pupils? And it's just glorious that you don't realize that those are meant for hunting through grasses. No wonder you can't see shit. You're so dumb that you built them wrong to look intimidating. Godzilla! You thought you were safe because you're the king of the monsters. Guess again, motherfucker! Oh, look at those adorable little turtle feet. You have the complexion of an overripe avocado. You look like if Grumpy Cat was a lizard who couldn't lay off the butter. I just have to commend what a small penis maneuver it was to require the American Godzilla to be the biggest one. I want our Godzilla to be bigger than all the others. Yeah, okay, we can do that. No, make him bigger. Yeah, we'll make him bigger. No, I want him bigger. We haven't designed him yet. How are we supposed to make him bigger? Make him bigger by volume. Why? I have a tiny penis, and I need more girth on that lizard! Zilla, how exactly is it that your 2D cartoon counterpart looks more realistic than you, is tougher than you, is more violent than you, and I would rather watch every second of their series than watch even 1 second of your movie? You know, people think you got disrespected when Godzilla annihilated you in Final Wars with a tail bitch slap and his atomic breath. But honestly, no. They were giving you more respect than you deserved. You were killed by regular missiles. So what should have happened is that Godzilla should have hit you with his tail and you should have ripped in half. The atomic breath was more than you deserved. Hell, you probably couldn't handle what comes out of the other end of Godzilla. That atomic shit would have done you in.